Hey guys, I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not the only person who's endured so much trauma in their lives that you're stuck in this trauma brain mentality. In a conversation I had today, just kind of pointed that out for me and helped me understand that. It's some people don't have capacities to understand what trauma is until they've gone through it, and even then they may not still understand it, because sometimes people just can't hold it. And the difference between an empath and a narcissist is an empath actually sits back and feels it, especially when it's happened over and over and over and over and over again in their life. And the reason why there's so much depth to a lot of us is because of those betrayals after betrayals after betrayals. And that's the sad part, is because the narc avoids it. They just push it away, jump into another relationship, friendships, or surround themselves with people that don't hold them accountable. And the difference between an empath and a narcissist is that an empath will isolate. For as long as they need to. And the sad part is a narcissist pushes an empath to their edge to the point of exploding, because a human being can only hold so much capacity of abuse and betrayal, right? And once somebody has betrayed you or stabbed you in the back multiple times, or that just one last time was enough to freaking make you explode. It's called reactive abuse. It's intentional. There are people in your life that want to see you crumble. And how you can detect those people is see how you feel around them. You know, what is your gut telling you? What is the body language around you associating with? Do you have an inner voice or an inner feeling like, this is wrong, I shouldn't be near this person? Or do you feel comfortable? Not everyone was gifted or born with how do I put this? Not everyone's born with the understanding, the tools, the actions and ways of thinking to navigate those obstacles. And if you're not, life will teach you them. It's just that a lot of us were not given those tools, and those tools, or lack thereof, can either cripple you or it can put pressure on you to do better. I feel like I personally have been in circumstances where I had no one really to turn to, because the very people that I thought I could turn to are not able to help me with these deep scenarios or things full of depth, because everybody I know in my life has not gone through the things that I have, so they don't know how to carry that. It's not anybody's fault. We can only go by what we're given in life, the cards we're dealt. but you can't do something when you don't know how to, you know? I wish I would have understood this more in my younger years, because it would have saved me from a lot of betrayals, from a lot of heartache. But it's a catch-22. It's like, okay, had I not gone through these experiences, would I have the depth that I do now? I love to talk about anything mystic. I love to talk about the reason behind things. I like to talk about the reason and the reason behind the reason of things, like, if that makes sense. Like, I am a truth seeker. I thoroughly enjoy talking about endless universal shit. And if somebody can't hold that depth or conversation with me, I just won't give it the time of day, because I feel like that's ultimately me shrinking myself to fit in. And I have to correlate this with my health condition, with my endometriosis, and how bad it got. It's because I was wired, and think of it this way, children are from birth to, I don't know, just above toddler age, kids absorb, like, that's why they call kids sponges. They absorb the wiring of their caretakers' nervous systems, you know, and that's all dependent on what your upbringing was. And there could be many different factors. It's not just one parent. It could be both. It could be different family members. It could be cousins, aunts, uncles, all the stuff. It all is connected. And because of the brutality that happened to my mother, and I'm going to be honest, like, this is what happened to me. My mother brought chaos to my life because look what happened to her. She was murdered by her boyfriend. It was a murder-suicide. And then before the guy that killed her, my mother always just dated emotionally unavailable and chaotic men, which is always the boyfriends that I fell for. Modeled. Literally the epitome of what my mother brought around me constantly. Now, my mom, from what I remember, I lost her when I was 14. She was very intense, you know, from what I can remember, and the capacity that she held for me. She probably can't, or probably didn't, rather, reciprocate the same energy with everyone else. But I do know that she loved me, and that she would have done anything for me, and that was my nurture. Like, she was tragically removed from me, and that from my life, from everyone's life, not just mine, because I know she meant a lot to a lot of other people too. But when a girl, especially, is ripped of that, it's like your nurture was just ripped away, and then all I have to look by is the example that she led. Now moving to the paternal side of my family, I feel like there's a lot of suppression, a lot of ignorance to how people are treated, and I'm not saying this to attack anybody. I'm saying this as a realization as to why dynamics happen the way that they do. It could be so subtle. It could be just the way that you do things, you know. From my experience, just so we can get it spelled out a little bit, or so we can use an example. There's a family member who constantly treated his wife not the greatest, and I grew up watching that at dinners, and I just don't agree with the way that she was spoken to, and I don't agree with the way that she suppresses things. Because when somebody's down talked to like that consistently for a really long time, then that leads a familial cycle of that being okay behavior. So that models the type of dynamics that we allow in our lives. If these people are not leading by an example of love. Because love to me is not suppression. It's not any of these things, any of these false illusions that I've been seeing. Because if it was, my life wouldn't be where it is right now. Like, let's be honest. I'm not afraid to voice anymore. And that is my goal through my work. I want to help people see through that and find power within themselves to break from that and be able to find peace with it, and maybe even repair the relationships in the way that everybody's capacity can hold. I just want peace. I just want people to be held accountable for their wrongdoings, even if they're aware or not. Some people aren't even aware of the shitty things that they do because they weren't taught. Again, difference between an empath and a narc. An empath, they awaken to the illusions. The narcissist specifically targets people like this because they know that empaths like me, or empaths like us, because you're obviously resonating with my messages if you're here, empaths like us hold that space that a narcissist doesn't have the capacity to go inward and heal, whereas we do. But we're unknowingly, it's like, think of it as like enabling a drug addict. If we continuously take the emotional weight and baggage of those people that can't hold themselves accountable for the shit that they do, then it's going to tear up our insides and cause suppression, not connecting with some chronic health issues. If you are inwardly holding on to chaos and not voicing your truth, then it's going to fuck you up internally. Because an empath doesn't want to intentionally harm somebody like a narcissist does. We hold on to it internally, and that's why the internal diseases exist. It's because we are suppressing. And that's why narcissists target people like us, is because we know they know that we'll carry it, and they don't have to be held accountable. They could just hop from person to person and steal everybody else's light until eventually enough people will recognize what they're doing and their pattern and just be like, I'm good, buddy. I'm gonna stay far away from you and your manipulation tactics. And eventually people like that end up alone. It's sad and it sucks, but that's what they mean when they say how they treat you is how they feel about you. Period. End of story. Don't believe lies, believe their actions. Because that'll speak louder than any false masked word or facade ever will. Consistency. Love. Not a false illusion of it. And guess what? When people start seeing through those masked facades, they're going to crumble. They have nothing else to siphon off of, and eventually they're just going to rot. I said what I said.